Good evening, dear SASSE members, and good evening, dear candidates. We have divided the president candidates in two groups. With us here in group 2, we have Jakob, Liv, Elias, and Tindra. So the agenda is that we have 3 questions, and for each question, each candidate will be given 1 minute per question. So for the first question, we have randomized the order in which the candidates will answer the questions. So for the first question, we have Liv first, then Tindra, then Jacob, then Elias. So, question number 1. Do you want to see a more professional SASSE with more and stricter regulations, or a more playful and less professional SASSE with less regulations? And keep in mind, you have to choose one of the two and make sure to motivate why you chose the way you did. So, Liv.
So the short answer is less regulations in SASSE. I am a firm believer that the more regulations we have, the more difficult it really gets to really give room for creativity within the association. As you've probably grasped from my election promises, I really want to make room for new creative thinking because I know that every single member of SASSE is really capable of this. So that is my short answer.
Thank you. Tindra.
If I were to choose between the two, I would go with a more professional SASSE. I believe that the regulations provide clarity, resulting in less time spent on decision making, more time spent on what we're actually here to do, adding value to the members of our organization. A more professional SASSE means that the project leaders and members won't be spending unnecessary effort searching for information that should have been provided to them. This way, we can reduce their workload. While flexible regulations might cause conflicts, clearer ones provide solutions. And I'm all about solutions. I want a SASSE where things get done, rather than where we are uncertain of what is allowed or what applies to a specific case.
Thank you. And Jacob.
I believe the regulations serve a purpose. I think by defining a right and wrong within the association, we can hold members accountable when they are in the wrong. Furthermore, I think that by standardizing our behaviors according to these regulations, we can make sure that all members are treated equally in the case of recruitments or in elections. Furthermore, I think that it makes for smoother transitions between SASSE boards when much of the know-how is written down, and that by allowing all members to read into the stipulations that the decision-making bodies of SASSE are making decisions after, we can hold them accountable just like the members. So by creating more regulations and formalizing more processes, we can spend more time on doing things that we actually find fun and creative.
Thank you. And finally, Elias.
Well, in SASSE we will not have any problems in having fun or hosting amazing parties, but and I think so, and therefore I go with the more professional option. And honestly, I don't think that we have to compromise with the joyfulness in order to be more professional. If we implement some guidelines in a right way, they actually might serve a purpose purpose of being more inclusive, and also they might serve the purpose to be more inclusive. And as for example, there are rules to the recruitment processes and the interviews that actually make sure that every member have the fair chance to apply. And this shows that certain regulations might actually do a good job to provide equalness for everyone.
Okay, thank you. That was the first question. So moving on to the second question, which is supposedly for the members one of the most important ones, because as you know, we are not under the best circumstance right now, and during the next semester, things might look quite similar. So the order for this question, first of all, is Jacob will start, then Elias, then Liv, and then Tindra. So imagine the following scenario. Let's say that from the time that the members come back from Christmas holidays all the way until the summer, so for the whole spring semester, The COVID situation will remain the same throughout the period, so the restrictions that prevail today will also prevail during the whole spring semester. Given this scenario, I want you to describe your action plan, which you believe will maximize the student value under these boring and gray circumstances. And I must emphasize again to be concrete and specific. So, Jacob.
I think we have to redefine creating value for members. I think that rather than throwing parties that more or less align with the current corona regulations, I think we have to face the music. SASSE plays a crucial role in creating well-being for the students, and I think we really have to take that responsibility. So to be more concrete, I think we should encourage students to create study groups of up to 8 members that can study together, work out, hang out. And then as an association, perhaps we can create events, for example, competitions that these different student study groups can compete in, and then crown the best student study group of all in this sort of Corona Olympics.
Thank you.
Yes. For many of us, SASSE plays an integral part of our social lives, and is therefore very necessary for us, and it creates great values for us students. And by being creative, we can find solutions on doing activities and allowing for social engagement. As we see in this last week, the social committee has had Inspiration Week with activities ranging from yoga classes to wine and painting, and these under times when restrictions have been very regulative. So this proves the point that we have the opportunity to actually have these activities together even during these times, and we should make sure that when there is possible to have yoga, we should do more yoga and look at these ways, because this ensures student well-being.
Thank you. Liv.
So firstly, I would just like to say that as much as it breaks my heart, this is a very plausible scenario, which is why I have built my campaign around this very situation. My first election promise is stop postponing and start adapting. And this is really what I would do. But also, the role as the president is not really to be the creative director of SASSE. It is to organize the work of the SASSE board. Each committee president has great ideas on how to really organize corona-friendly activities, and this is what I, as president, would be there to support by hosting small events for the committee presidents, but also all the SASSE members to brainstorm and come up with these great ideas. I believe that we could really create a lot of value for our members. And even today, during the lunch debate, I heard some great ideas of the aspiring social committee presidents, who I heard someone say outdoor banquets. I just think that there are a lot of great ideas out there. And my role as president would be to support this, but not really contribute with these ideas because they're already out there.
Thank you. And Tinda.
In order for us to maximize student utility, we need to take COVID into consideration, both when planning and executing events. No matter the event, instead of postponing, I will make sure that the event take place in the best possible form. This includes, but isn't limited to, digitizing and moving outdoors. As president, I will enforce a policy that requires 3 scenarios for every event, ranging from the best case to worst case, as to limit disappointment and guaranteeing that the mission of SASSE stays true, even in the midst of the pandemic. If there's anything I've learned from this last year in SASSE, and from my time in the military, it's that we need to prepare for it all. A great example of this is the tough Viking practices. Best case, we work out at the gym. Given current restrictions, outdoors in groups of 8 students. Worst case, we moved the event to a digital platform. Thanks to our preparation, the event will still take place.
Time's up. Thank you. Moving on to the last question for this evening. So the order is Elias will start, then Tinda and Jacob, and then Liv. So all of you candidates have said that you want to have a SASSE for everyone in one way or another. So please describe how your ideas specifically differentiate yourself from the others. So be specific. Elias.
Yes, I believe that this is a question about diversity, and meaning that students from different programs and from different years, and also with different backgrounds and interests, feel welcome at SASSE. And I think that there are ways that we can ensure that SASSE, in a better way, reflects all the unique personalities at our school. So first, if each board member work enthusiastically for diverse SASSE, we can create an inclusive culture. Secondly, we can find new ways to increase master students' participation in SASSE activities. And finally, I would ensure and introduce a mentorship program where current international students can guide and mentor incoming ones. And this will create a foundation for a united and diverse SASSE, which gives you the opportunity to connect with a broad spectrum of people. Thank you.
Tindra?
What differentiates me from the other candidates is that this question is not just one election promise to me, it's all of them. With me as president, the philosophy of a welcoming SASSE will permeate everything that we do. I do not wish to force SASSE on every student at SSE. Instead, I wish to lower the barrier of entry, especially for international students, master students, and a not as active SASSE member. Lower barriers and smoother handovers facilitates engagement in SASSE, regardless of previous experience. Informal events such as casual pubs simplifies participation without commitment. No sign-up needed, no fee paid, just show up. A more accessible student counselor will not only benefit the active SASSE member, but rather every student at SSE. So when I say a welcoming SASSE for all members, this is not just talk. This is a vision that will shine through everything that we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Jacob?
I believe that making SASSE accessible is more important now than ever before, due to making the business and economics program international. And the way I want to do this is by creating activities that have a low barrier of entry with other universities. I think my best example would be increased exchanges with other universities that serve as a complement rather than a substitute to the current activities that SASSE offers. I think traveling to another university as SASSE members will increase the collectivism and also create student value. Furthermore, I believe that rather than having buddy program between international students, I think the current one between international and national students has a lot of potential if we just develop it the right way. So rather than giving them a fika, we can have events and parties for them, which will make it more attractive and make international students more welcome.
Thank you. And Liv?
So firstly, I would just like to point out that I was perhaps the only candidate who did not have a SASSE for everyone as one of my promises. But of course, I do believe in inclusion of everyone in SASSE. However, I think my take on it is a little bit different. While a lot of people seem to assume that having a more open SASSE inevitably means that making engagement in SASSE more easy, I think that we need to recognize that actually not every single student at SSE wants to be actively involved in the organization. I mean, there are a lot of students here who have maybe different things on the side that they're doing. They might be working or having an internship, but what I do know is that everyone wants to feel at home. Everyone wants to feel involved, maybe without actually actively taking part in a project or in a committee. So I think rather than lower the barriers of entry into SASSE, we should just break down the walls all in all. Everyone should be welcome, regardless if you choose to be a part of a project or not.
Okay, thank you. So those were the questions we had for you for this evening. Thanks for coming, and for all the members out there, remember to vote on December 1st. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.